minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock on this day, Friday. It is the middle of the month, September, the 15th day of September. The 15th day already. All right. Of course, today is also International Day of Democracy. So good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, Paul Richards, he's in. We have Richard Raghubarsing joining us. We got Ruben washing his car again. We got Wendell Stevens somewhere in the globe. My name is Steve Khan. We'll keep you company until 9 o'clock this morning. Quickly, let's take a look at the WT, see what's happening with weather and traffic. Let's start with the T's. Traffic. We got some volume by Santa Rosa, approaching O'Mara Lights, Maloney to Piarco, Trin City towards UE, and then from the interchange, little traffic as they pass Aranguez and El Socorro, and just by swim call, you're going to step on your brake as you head into Port of Spain. Outer Maraval is beginning to build. Let's head down south, way up north, and see what's happening there. I got nothing as yet to tell you what's happening in San Fernando. The Solo is pretty much clear just after Freeport, just after. You're going to get some traffic ahead towards Sugar Gardens and volume from Charlieville towards the interchange. All right. Taking a look at the W's, the weather. Piarco, 25 degrees. Crown Point, Tobago, 27 degrees. And what the Met Office is saying for us today, prepared by Jean-Marc Rampersad, says generally hot and sunny conditions. Despite a brief shower, there's a low 30% chance of an isolated afternoon heavy shower favoring western and hilly areas of Trinidad. All right, this evening will be fair. Maximum forecast temp for Piarco will be 34, 33 at Crown Point in Tobago. And let's check some temps before I go to my hellos and see who sent us messages. Toronto, you're clear at 10 degrees. Miami, same thing, and 26. Orlando, 24 and clear. New York, clear and 15. Atlanta, mostly cloudy and 20 degrees. London, whoa, look at you, sunny and 20 degrees. Tampa is at 25. Washington, D.C. is at 14. And California, L.A., we haven't heard from him in a long time. Hope all is well. Partly cloudy and 18 degrees. All right, that's some temps across our listenership. And let's see who sent us hellos via YouTube this morning. A lot of people popped in, so let's check it out. Oliver Man Warren still celebrating his 25th wedding anniversary. Good morning to you. Wendy Ann James out in San Juan. Doreen Pierre. Morning, D. Pierre. Ms. Maloney Doodoo, what's going on? Pauline Buckmeyer. Good morning as well. Miss Ingrid out in Tucson, Arizona. Hello to you. Brenda Isaac, good morning. Ray out in West Palm Beach, scorching Florida. Good morning. And Marcia Rock, good morning and happy Friday to you as well. All right. Pablo, Chef Boya Pablo, good morning.
Good Friday morning to everyone. Good morning, Steve. But
that sounds such a rare sunshine there.
Lord, yes, Father. I've had a hectic week. Let me put it that way. So.
Yeah, boy, this week has been hectic.
Friday to be over, so we can just not do anything Saturday and Sunday. Not that I will not be doing anything. I have a ton of work to do this weekend.
Yeah, so do I. I don't know what the rest is. What the rest is going to be like for me for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, it's Friday. I don't have to get up too early in the morning tomorrow, so that's good. Carol Guevara, good morning to you. All right, yeah. Welcome to this Friday morning. Well, we so look forward to this day today. It's been a long week.
Let's start with the good. Let's start with the good news.
Let's start with good news. All right, what do you got for us?
I've had the opportunity to work with a group called Support Autism TT, and there's a young woman called Maya Curti Nanan, who formed a group called Autism Siblings and Friends Network. And of all the Commonwealth countries in the world, she won the Commonwealth Young Person of the Year Award 2023.
Yes.
And I mean, she is just amazing. And I'm so happy that and I know her and her mentor, Dr. Radhika Mahes, who we spoke to a couple of weeks ago when
Mm-hmm.
London the awards. But I mean, I'm so happy that Maya has won this award because they do such great work in San Fernando and Central Trinidad. It's open to everyone, but I mean, I'm just so overjoyed that she won this award. So great stuff. Congratulations to Maya and her group, because it's a group of young men who are working so well to helping families and children with autism spectrum disorder, special needs, and their families in Trinidad and Tobago. So congratulations to her. I'm
Well
really, really
done, Maya. Well done.
So that's great news. That's good news to start with. Trinity's doing well. When she comes back in London still, I'll arrange an interview.
Yes. Definitely do that.
So we could find out a bit more about her work and how she feels about winning this prestigious award. You know, so that's the great news we can start with this morning.
Good call there, Paul. Good call. Always need to start with the good news. Good morning, Billy Bob. Boston is in the house and locked on. Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Billy Bob. Yeah, great to start.
I would advise anyone to get one of these new devices. See this? It's $200.
What is a cordless screwdriver?
An electric screwdriver. Yes, it's cordless also.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. It makes all the work so easy.
It does, you know. I have 2 of those and my drill.
Let me tell you something. It's wonderful. I don't know what's I've been out for so long. It's doing 200 TT.
Or maybe just 9 or 10 US.
You know?
It needs charging. Oh,
it's just plugged in, just charging. Charge.
Yeah, I can't live without that.
And imagine if you find ways to put other appendages onto the end of it, what? Yeah.
Oh boy, that explains so much.
You can be creative with it.
Yeah, Zena, how anyway, let me not go there, yes?
Put something at the end of that you can do create, and it goes both ways, clockwise and anti-clockwise. I mean, you can have a lot of fun. Wenda's not going to be on this morning. He's on a flight now.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going. Now he's somewhere in the world. So, he's living it up.
But he's right. I mean, life's short, you know.
Yeah, you have to create memories.
I'm going on a trip soon, but I won't tell you all until I get there. At the end of this month for 7 days. But I won't tell you all where I'm going until I get there.
Is it a vacation or is it a
No, it's a working trip. It's a
working trip.
But of course you get to sightsee and stuff. It's someplace I've never been before.
Going
and someplace I always wanted to go.
Amsterdam.
I went to Amsterdam already.
Oh. Toronto.
Went to Toronto already. I answer no more questions. Come on.
Yeah,
I don't want to tell you. I'll tell you.
No, I know you'll tell me later anyway, Trey. So.
No, I won't actually.
Don't worry. We have ways.
Okay,
we have ways.
So the Prime Minister had a post cabinet news briefing yesterday, and he said there's no cabinet reshuffle on the horizon. On the cabinet's agenda, this after a 3-day retreat in a cruise in Chaguamas.
Yeah, cat out the back. I know where you're going, Paul. I know where you're going. Cat out the back.
Cruising, make some money, boy. Hosting.
Yes, they did. They make a good dollar there.
They all stayed down there, breakfast, lunch, dinner, conference center. Good for you. And I like the food down there too. So
I haven't been down there.
I haven't been there for a while, but I love the food. The restaurant is pretty good. Lovely food. I love the ambience. You sit on the marina is right there, and the ocean, particularly at sunset, absolutely beautiful. And then
Yeah.
you're away from the city noise, so you only get the lapping of the ocean against the marina, so you don't get the city background hum. It's just kind of relaxing, you know. But I just when you think about it, it's one way in, one way out down there. So you
Yeah,
just
boy.
take up to our road. You just sleep down there. Anyway, so he said the prime minister that is
That
that
because
there's no cabinet reshuffle. He said
mm-hmm.
he kind of hinted the government will maintain a deficit budget. Budget's coming up in about 3-4 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
middle of October. My understanding is, and he actually said that he will write to the leader of the opposition to invite her and her team to crime talks, which I think is a really good move. I always said that the person who is leading the country is the one who has to make the overtures.
Mm-hmm.
And the prime minister is the one leading the country. This after her excellency President Christine Kangaloo called for unity among parliamentarians.
Maybe that could be our poll. Would there be unity? Fight crime.
But I don't know what unity means in that case, but I mean, they could talk.
Well, there's Rupert and Marshall unity.
You know, they can talk. They've talked before, to my understanding. I don't know if they're in a place, either of them and their teams, for, how should I put this diplomatically, for listening to each other, really listening to each other, and not talking to each other, you know, and just and really listening to what each other says, and earnestly seeing, you know, what they can apply to each other. Because the problem is that they both want to be right.
Yeah, boy.
And they both want to take the credit.
I'll be right all the time.
And they could both take the credit. They could say we both contributed to a reduction in the crime, and population will be happy. Population, they already care, you know. Once the crime go down, nobody don't care who come up with the idea. Once the crime go down, you can boast on your hustings if you want, but people just want the crime to reduce sustainably. They don't want it to come down for a week and then go back up next week. They want it to go down for a sustained period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what people want. People want to walk down the road and feel safe. They don't want to leave your wife and your daughter leave the house and you have to be on pins and needles for them to get to the destination and to return home safely in the night. Women want their husbands to go out and come back safely, and people want their children to go to entertainment and recreational things and come back safely. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's what people want. People want to feel safe.
Yeah, and be safe. Road without being robbed.
Yeah. That's what people want to feel. You know, and that's not too much to ask.
No.
I mean, I don't care how much money you have. If you're dead, you can't enjoy nothing. So
you can't take it with you.
Traumatized and hurt, and you try to take it forever. It's just a whole life, downward life spiral. If anything, God forbid, happens to you or your families, that's all people want, to feel safe. Mm-hmm. So I welcome the move by the Prime Minister. You know, and I hope the opposition has signaled that they're ready and willing to have these talks with the government. I hope the talks bear fruit and they're able to implement ideas coming out of the discussions. I mean, that's what people want. I mean, I've always said, the way the country is configured, the country needs both the PNM and the UNC to move forward. The way it's configured, socially and culturally and politically, we cannot move forward without both parties. We cannot. It's just, it won't work. You understand? You need to get both parties and their supporters on board the major initiatives. And I know people have different ways or different ideas on how they want to champion the economy or security or whatever. But I'm sure if you sit down and really listen to each other, you could come up with ideas that you have in common and champion them. So, and as opposed to just, no, you say, I know, I do this. It hasn't worked before. And if they don't change the approach of these consultations, it will not work. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm optimistic. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, same here. Optimistic. All right. Of course, CPL action was last night. Guyana went up against St. Lucia, and Guyana lost their first game in the CPL. St. Lucia won, of course. Let me get the. Is there a game tonight? I'm checking for you folks. I know you all depend on me for that. So I'm getting right on it. There is a game. Let's see. They're in Guyana. There's no game tonight. No cricket on tonight. Tomorrow, Jamaica will play St. Kitts at 10 a.m. and then Guyana will play TKR at 7 p.m. That's tomorrow night. And and then that's their last game before they get into the eliminated qualifiers and semi-finals and finals. I think Trinidad should have a good chance to win, man. They're well rested. They had no games this week, so I hope they practice and got some rest. Of course, next week, Sunday, will be the finals at 7 p.m. All right, but yeah, Guyana lost their first game in the CPL on home turf. Interesting. I didn't think that was going to happen. Let's say good morning going out. Oh boy, a lot of messages here. Wayne B, good morning. Ali Boo White, good morning. Paul is going to Ghana, Africa.
I told you that I'm not saying so.
Winston Jones, good morning. Rena Buru Jennings, good morning. Faria Hayatali, good morning. Josie Richardson, morning to you as well. Thank you so much for hitting us up on YouTube. Of course, you can view us on YouTube. Just look for Power 102 Digital. And you can send us a message as well. I am working together with Ruben on a message system that we'll have in the studio here. So I'm working on that. Today is 101 days to Christmas. Tomorrow is 100 days to Christmas. So Christmas is around the corner, Paul.
The most wonderful time of the year.
It is the most wonderful time of the year. You know, after 100 days, I start to play my Christmas music.
Yeah.
At least train 1 or 2 there.
The Prime Minister said that he sought legal advice on the decision by the High Court with respect to the non-disclosure of the reported allegations of sexual misconduct by former Sport Minister Darrell Smith. The Prime Minister was asked about the issue yesterday. He said that he sought legal advice and it has nothing to do with him. He said, I saw something in the papers today. I've since sought legal advice because much of what I saw in the papers has nothing to do with me. I see it in the courts where I'm supposed to have done certain things. I cautioned people. It had nothing to do with me. He said, the actions I took against Darrell Smith, none of it had to do with anything to do with sexual harassment. I have seen no court order, so I can't comment on that at the moment. I tell you, a pink elephant flying through the sky and that reporter you will never see.
Yeah, we'll never see that.
And the front page of the Express, TNT is my home. Very stunningly beautiful young woman who shot to national prominence recently after she won the opportunity to represent this country at a pageant in Vietnam. Venezuelan beauty queen chosen to represent the country on the world stage breaks silence. TNT is my home. Stunning, beautiful, very beautiful young woman.
She is indeed.
You say that.
Indeed. I actually got invited to something on Sunday. It's a section band launch on Sunday. I got invited, and she's supposed to be the lead when it comes to the section. So
there you go.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'll be so busy this weekend. Whenever I can get a rest, I'll take it. Preparing to move is
despite all the hoopla she's going to represent. She's fully eligible, and the organizers of the competition are standing by her right and to represent this country. So, good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
Do your thing, girl.
You do your thing. All right. At this time, you can open up our telephone lines. You can interact with us, 222-8255. If you're out in North America, I have a toll-free number for you.
Let's see if Zena and or Lincoln both call.
Yeah.
They're the
866.
ones who demanded we open the lines and give them time to
Demand
talk.
525-1099. Josie says, I'm on YouTube. Hi, Josie. I'm waving to you. There you go, Josie. Jarena Boodoo Jennings says, time of the year I don't look forward to because the fireworks, the scratch bombs, distressing to me and my dogs. Totally understand that. Totally.
I
Ronnie,
love Christmas.
good morning.
I think we're going to do a Christmas overlay.
Oh, okay. Ruben, good morning, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Pinal here.
Good morning.
Private enterprise beauty. This is what we must understand. There is nothing in our law requiring any standards for someone to call themselves Trinidad and Tobago. Apparently, anybody could set up a competition, as I've said before, the Miss Universe and all of the other competitions and so on. Anybody could set up a competition anywhere in the world and have a local franchisee with their rules. And their rules could be that only Grenadian and Venezuelan tourists are eligible to enter this competition. And they could call that winner Miss Trinidad and Tobago. I'm talking about tourists, not of various ancestries. And they could call that person Miss Trinidad and Tobago. There is nothing in our law to stop them or to protect them. And right around the corner, you could have another set of rules and another Miss Trinidad and Tobago. And the people who are doing this are entrepreneurs. This is a business. The whole objective here is the same as World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, where the whole thing is organized with a view to making money for the company and for all who are involved. And that's what it is. And just like they pick and choose and manipulate the winners in WWE according to their business, according to the storyline that is going to produce money, short, medium, and long term. That's what all of these competitions are about. Private enterprise beauty queens. If you guys are game, we could set up something here, or something, and then on the corner, we could do it. Anybody could do it. It's just free and open. The only issue I have is people can just use Trinidad and Tobago, but they can. They can. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw a newspaper report yesterday suggesting that someone was thinking that the Prime Minister and or the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs should get involved in that scenario and intervene in some way. As Mr. Pinar said, I don't think they could intervene, but to have some rules saying you can't call it Mr. and Tobago. Or somebody can't call themselves Mr. and Tobago. I don't know what the rules are, to be very honest. Because Trinidad and Tobago is a country and a brand, so I don't know. But I don't really think the Prime Minister nor the Minister of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs or Foreign and CARICOM Affairs should get involved in that at all. Good morning, Raghubar Singh.
Oh, good morning, guys. Good morning to our listeners and viewers, wherever you are.
There he is, Mr. Trinidad and Tobago.
So, what are you talking about? Who got involved in what?
I was saying that the situation with the Venezuelan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's still going on?
And she said she's looking forward to representing the country. And Mr. Pinal was just called and said that, anybody could call itself Mr. Trinidad and Tobago, or anybody got a competition.
Look, we have Mr. Trinidad and Tobago there. Let's grab this call. Good morning, caller.
Morning.
Hey, stranger, what's going on?
Richard.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
I was listening to some people speak about a situation this week when I came back home. The minimum wage. And some employers cut working hours already on people and cut days already. because I don't know why he did it. But when I was in the States, I observed a lot of things out there. You know, food prices gone up there very drastically. You know,
A while
rent
now.
drastically.
A while now.
Rent gone up drastically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bus fare went up when I was up there. Independence Day, bus fare went up. So like the inflationary process that's happening in the States. Inflation right in the States is within 3 months. Right now in China, the inflation is a little while now. And minimum wage, where they say they want to put to $25 or $30, I don't know. I don't know where's the plan with that. But people are really struggling with food here and across there. So what is the plan the government have with this minimum wage and this food prices we have in Trinidad and Tobago? Because it's a serious issue. Nice. We might be able to pay our rent here, but because right now in Brooklyn where rent was cheap, rent gone up high in Brooklyn. You understand? So like this thing is a worldwide phenomenon, right? Because everything just seems to be raising. People's salary not raising, minimum wage. I hear they talk about it. You all had an interview with a guy sometime and he talked about minimum wage. And they say, well, this and that and that. The union yesterday was even talking about the minimum, the 4%, the prison union association. And they said they might get about $400, but everything gone up around $4,000. So I ain't hear nobody talking about this minimum wage and how the survival of people. You understand? So
No, we spoke about it with the Minister of Labor, and he did hint that it was being, but he did say that it was being considered by the cabinet. So I guess if it is to be announced, if they've made a decision regarding raising it, because he in our conversation he said it seemed to imply that the conversation that the minimum wage was being considered to be raised, not necessarily to the level that the unions were asking or people were asking, but at some level, if it's going to come during the budget, I'm presuming.
Because it has some workers who say we work Saturday and Sunday, right? You're supposed to work 40 hours of work, right? They work Saturday and Sunday and they never get overtime. And when they talk about it, they cut down the work days. So know how people want to pay people the money. So we end up back to slave labor. And you know, I'm watching what's going on because I ain't seen nobody interested in nothing. And food prices are going to grocery. I know Paul Richard is going to grocery. Richard Raguba says you're going to grocery. The prices I think that's going up.
Yeah,
and
boy.
In Christmas and in Christmas month. Just now it's Christmas, they'll go for Christmas.
And shipping rates came down, eh?
I hear shipping rate gone down.
Shipping rates came down, but the prices still remain the same.
How much you bag of dog food, boys?
It depends on which one. Even that's expensive.
Lamb and rice. I see people cooking food for the dog now because they can't afford that.
Yeah, that
Dog chow.
Yeah, dog rice is a big seller by me.
You see? Somewhere when I see people cooking dog food here, my son and them, cooking dog food for the dog. I say, boy, will you make a nice pilau? He said, like for the dog. I said, but I started to eat that, yes?
Yeah, some grocery, they call it sawdust. That's a bunch of various meats mixed up together, and they sell that, and people mix that with their rice, and they put veggies in it, and they give it to their dog.
You price that thing, boy. Relator sing a song, how much he has.
Food prices, yes.
And it's a fact right now, eh? But you have a good day already.
Yeah. All right, thank you,
Mr.
Patrick. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. The gentleman spoke about rent in Brooklyn. And I think the reason why that is so where I live, I mean, I live in Canarsie. That used to be a heavily populated white Caucasian area with Italians and so on. And a lot of these Caucasian people are coming back to Brooklyn, and that's one of the reasons why I mean the rents are being raised. Inflation. One of the things I personally fight inflation is by changing my diet. I mean, I eat in this country like the way I used to eat in the Caribbean. And right now, I mean, for health reasons, and I think everybody should maybe adopt my style, is my diet is right about now 80% plant-based. And I think it's a good thing. It's a healthy thing. I feel good about it. You know,
Is that cheaper in the States?
well, I mean, it's cheaper for me in terms of, I mean, the things that I used to buy. I mean, in terms of the things that I used to buy. Like, I mean, I am not into this macaroni and cheese and all these delicacies.
I know some people say going organic, which is not necessarily plant-based. It's so much more expensive.
Well, to be Dr. Paul, to be honest with you, I mean, for example, baby spinach and those things. The baby spinach, the organic stuff to me at Whole Foods is much more cheaper than the non-organic stuff.
Okay, that's great.
Non-organic, because the non-organic stuff, I mean, you have to put more into it to grow it, unlike the organic stuff, which is less. Not with all these chemicals, they don't have all these chemicals in it. But if you go to Whole Foods now or Trader Joe's, look at the prices between the non-organic stuff and the organic. You will find the organic stuff.
So the prices force you to be healthy.
Definitely, I think so. I mean,
that's good coming out of it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for example, like chicken wings, like chicken thighs. You will buy a tray of chicken thighs for what? Not organic for 6 something, and the non-organic thing is like a 7 something. You know, it's something. I mean, you go to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and you compare the prices, and that's what you get. So, I mean, that's the way I fight those inflation prices on food and so on. Well, transportation, I mean, MTA, the usual style, they want to fund the capital project, so they raise the prices on us to $2.90 from $2.75. Anyway,
I find those MTA prices have gone so much in the last 10 years in New York. I mean, what used to be a cent, a less than $1 right now is like $4 and stuff. It's like, so those train rides are so expensive now.
Yeah, that is true. For example, there's a guy from Grenada who builds a fish. I used to get fish for $7 and $8.99. Now fish in Grenada, fish coming from the Caribbean island is well like $11, $12. I'm talking about kingfish, red snapper, grouper. All those things are way up into the $11 and $12 a pound right now. Anyway, have a good day, gentlemen.
Have a good day. Be safe.
Thank you, New York.
Newspapers.
Yeah, let me just grab this call already. So let me grab this call before we go to newspapers. Morning, caller.
Morning, big guy here. Morning,
hey, big guy.
Morning.
I don't know where that guy is shopping. I don't know where he's shopping for organic stuff, because the most expensive food in America, in New York and America, is organic food. It is very expensive. So I don't know where he's shopping. I would like him to tell me where he's shopping, because that is not so very expensive. And
he said Whole Foods and Trader Joe.
No. So he's wrong. He's very wrong. I think he's wrong. Organic food is very expensive up here. It's very expensive. Respect to the minimum wage. Our minimum wage is like $15 an hour. Okay. Your minimum wage is what, $17 an hour or something?
$17.50.
According to Mr. Trinity, food prices have gone up here. That is all over the world has gone up here. But let me explain. Let me go with a roti. A roti here is $8. With $15, I could nearly get 2 rotis. How much a roti in Trinidad? Not $25?
Depending on the roti.
Depending on the roti. A potato is
depending on the size.
All right. I don't think you could get a roti for $17 in Trinidad. Can you?
A potato roti small, yeah.
You could get a potato roti for $20.
Right,
yes.
What I'm trying to say, yes, food prices go up here. I don't doubt that, but still, the minimum wage of $15 an hour, you can still get more for your money than you can get in Trinidad for $17 an hour. You know, yeah, things gone up, but yeah, it is inflation everywhere, but things are still affordable. At least I find them still affordable. Prices, rent has gone up in Brooklyn, but when they build apartment buildings, you have to put a certain amount for affordable housing. There's also that in every building you build, a certain amount
rent control
for affordable housing. Hello?
Rent control.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
Right. Yeah, you have. So there's also there are different ways they counteract it also to help out those less fortunate, you know. But that's all I gotta say, gentlemen. All right, have a good morning.
All right, big guy. Thank you.
All right, 19 before 7. Now let's roll into the newspapers. Raghubasin, do you have?
Yes, I have the papers today.
Wonderful. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, so I'll start with the Daily Express. And the Daily Express for today, and just in case you didn't know, it's Friday, September 15th, 2023. And the main headline is TNT is my home. And there is a picture of the Venezuelan beauty queen Matarano, I believe her name is. She's on the front page of the Express. TNT is my home. Venezuelan beauty queen chosen to represent this country on world stage breaks silence. It is so important to me to try to use this platform to unite all. I am happy to have been accepted with open arms, and I have fell in love with the warmth of its people. That is the Trinidad and Tobago to show to the world, starting in Vietnam. And she is quite pretty, actually. So you can't fault her. She is quite beautiful.
She's very pretty.
Yeah. Motorist kills suspected bandit. I think is that the incident that took place outside La Luna Bar in the new La Luna Bar in Aruca? I think it is. I think it is. I should go through the circumstances of that case. Because apparently 2 people went in to rob the bar. And I read this yesterday. One with a big stone hold on to a woman to rob her. She fight back, and then one of the bandits run out in the road, and a car knock him down, turn around and knock him down again. And then the other one run out, and patrons ran out and beat both of them, and one died. That's a version that I read yesterday on, was it social media? So I'm not so sure how accurate that
Alrighty then.
we could get into that story. And on the back page of the Daily Express, Parkites to be crowned TTCB Premier Division 1 League title decided by appeal. And is it Saeem steers Amazon Warriors to victory? If I'm pronouncing that name correctly. So that's the front and the back page of the Daily Express for today. Moving on to the Newsday. Front page, PM, Prime Minister on plans for national budget. Government aims to ease cost of living. That's the headline. The main picture is that of Meal Fit for a King, Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean country executive Stephanie, what's her name? Ledesmi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It still doubles on the launch of a US $10 million multi-sectorial climate change adaptation project for the South Oropouche River Basin at Debe Secondary School on Wednesday. So that's the main picture. Who's getting the doubles? Kamala condemns failure to replace National Security Minister. That's a sub-headline. And on the back page of the Newsday today, players and referees keep cool as temperatures rise. SSFL battles the heat. And David and Telfer named in Nations League a best 11. And that's it for the front and back of the Newsday. Front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. PM makes first move. Opens door to crime talks with Kamala, hoping to find common ground with UNC, but admits respect is an issue. So there's a front page picture of the Prime Minister in the press conference yesterday. A rowdy cabinet reshuffle, never on cards. And agents threaten to shut down NLCB games. Not so sure what that is about.
You wanted to have riots in this country?
I'm not sure.
Right.
I don't know what the agents are upset about, but anyway. And on the back page of the Guardian, Windies under 19 concedes series. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
All right. Thank you, Rich. Let me give results of our poll from yesterday. Yesterday, we asked you a simple question. Should the Prime Minister release the Daryl Smith report? That was our poll yesterday. Results right after this.
Sizzling mattress savings now on at Furniture Plus. Save up to $1,700 on Serta, Sealy and therapeutic mattresses with prices starting from just $7.99. Bases and mattress accessories are also on sale. Check press and social media for details.
All righty. Once again, should the Prime Minister release the Darrell Smith report? 94%. 94% said yes.
Richard, I agree with you. That ad had nice dancing music, eh?
Yes.
I was finding myself moving also. Anyway, I'm suggesting the question comes from the information the Prime Minister suggested, well, he gave yesterday, that said he's going to reach out to the opposition leader for crime talks. So my suggested question is, do you expect crime talks between the government and opposition to result in reducing crime or a reduction in crime? Is that okay with you?
In measures to reduce crime.
Yeah, well, in measures to reduce crime, yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Or in measures that reduce crime?
Yeah.
There we go.
Right? Okay.
All right. Let's say good morning going out to Marva Williams, Slick Money Grip. Good morning to you. Edward Aliang, good morning. Shireen Jack, happy Friday. Damian Snag, he says, Trader Joe's organic food is cheaper than regular food. Okay. The farmer's market on a Saturday morning. Park is cheaper than regular groceries. Edward Aliang, the great, good morning. Adesuni, good morning too. Where are you messaging us from? All right. So once again, our morning poll, it's up on our screen on YouTube for those that are watching. Do you expect crime talks between the government and the opposition to result in measures that reduce crime? Of course, I saw a news article where it's an odd one. These two guys went into a bar armed with a big stone, and then the patrons in the bar decided to chase them away. And
We should talk about that.
yeah, they got knocked down. Yeah, that is a story. Carol Guevara says no. Thank you, Carol. 222-8255, toll free. North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio.
Yes, it's Friday. The weekend has begun.
Yeah. Ooh, Friday, yeah.
So put a smile on your face wherever you are. It is Friday. It's one of the favorite days of the week of the Power Breakfast Show. And of course, our poll this morning, do you expect crime talks between the government and opposition to result in measures that reduce crime? Of course, Dr. Rowley did indicate that he was going to reach out and he was going to write, I think, Kamla Prasad Bissessa.
Yeah.
Did he say right? I think it was right.
Yeah, he said he was going to write.
Yeah, the Kamla Prasad Bissessa, concerning the issue of crime, because of course, I mean, it's absolutely the number one issue that concerns Trinidadians and Tobago.
Oh yeah,
absolutely, the number one issue. I mean, food prices and cost of living is high up there too, but crime is absolutely number one, and it's also sending up the price of food because supermarkets and the cost of living, because that price is factored into whatever you buy. So do you expect crime talks between the government and opposition to result in measures that reduce crime? Are you, in other words, well, I guess in another way, are you hopeful that that's really going to do that? So that's our poll this morning. 222 talk, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and app, you'd have to use the messaging route via YouTube and sending your votes via the comment section there, which a lot of people use now. So we have a stream of votes that come through there. Steve, are you reading those votes?
Yeah. Alibu says no. Wayne B says no. Slick Money Grip says no. Julia S. Batiste says no.
Slick Money Grip supposed to tell us where the name come from this morning.
Good morning, Julia S. Batiste.
Yeah.
Right,
Alan.
that's a food basket.
All right. And Miss Ingrid says, sadly, no. Alan Cumberbatch out in Massachusetts says no. Billy Bob, no. Richard M. Jeremiah, good morning, Richard, says no. All right. Keep those votes coming. Let's get some calls in. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's our toll-free number. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, the conversation already began with the crime talk. They want to ask Guerrilla Hines, that ain't going nowhere. I
I
said,
don't
no.
know.
Julia, thank you, Mr. Patrick. Julia Espenty says, good morning, Richard. Okay. Josie Richardson, poll answer, yes. Michael Williams, great morning, guys. No.
I'm just glad they've agreed to talk.
Yeah, well, we got to get somewhere. We got to make a start.
You know? I mean, imagine them in the room, same with Fitzgerald Hines. I mean, that's a start. That's like a embarrassing face. What?
Do I have to?
I think the starting point is the discussion. And if they agree to, terms and conditions coming out of the meeting, because it makes no sense going into a meeting and come out and say, this one was a waste of time, that one was a waste of time. Go in with the view to listen and come up with some agreed to recommendations and agreed to announcements, as opposed to coming out and making your own self-serving announcements, which has happened in the past, which push you further apart.
Mm-hmm. Michael Williams says no. Ingrid Adams, great rising, happy Friday. Thank God. Answer to the poll is no.
And symbolically, it's important for the country to see them willing to come together to sit down and talk.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an important symbolic representation of what's important to them. And putting the country first and sitting down together to talk. I mean, it's not going to be an easy conversation because they have so much animosity between them, but it's an important first step. And they're going to give us what lunch supposed to be.
But can you have a discussion with crime, Paul, or a discussion about crime without looking at income equity?
Well, that's a wider discussion, because to me, that's the real issue. The real issue is that's driving not all, but a lot of the criminality is the socioeconomic position of a lot of the population. And not only money, the resources available to them, the opportunities for movement, upward mobility, you understand? So very often this thing is about the money alone. Yes, the money is critical because you have to buy groceries and food and pay rent and electricity bill. But the opportunity to do something with your life and your family is what, is what really is at the heart of a lot of it. And that is not to say everybody who are poor involved in crime, because there's the usual kickback response. People want to feel hope. People want to feel that their work means something for them and their family.
Yep.
And they're fighting every month to pay the bill and can't move ahead of it.
Yep.
While they see others, and this is not against the business community, doing so well or seeming to do so well, But you want the same thing for the children,
Yeah. A lot of
You want
people
to
their lives are stagnant.
Yeah. And some people feel the lives are stagnant. No, going backward. You're living with 6 people living in a board house with 3 children under 10 with water coming. How you feel? You're supposed to feel good about yourself and your family and your country. You can't.
Ish out in Malik says no. Guy Small says no. Our poll again. We have a couple of minutes again to vote.
Do you expect crime talks between the government and opposition to result in measures that actually reduce crime? That's our poll this morning. What says you? 222-TALK, 222-8255. You can call us. North Americans toll free at 866-525-1099. Of course, people on the web and the app or who want to vote via messaging, you'll have to do so on the YouTube platform and send your votes via the comment section, which many people are doing. I know you just gave Guy Small, who said no to the poll. Trevor Broadbelt also says, who's Trevor from Arima, says no.
What's his name? Trevor Broadbelt. That's Steve's name.
No, that's what there was Steve, you're getting Broadbelt.
Steve Broadbelt.
All
We
right,
were supposed to have given the snap at 7 o'clock, but he's off to Tobago to give a presentation, so he had to postpone to Monday.
Who's this?
Gideon Dixon from the Police Social Welfare Association to talk about the stresses police under in relation to what just happened, unfortunately, with the supposed murder-suicide. So he's deferred to Monday. So we're going to open them phone lines even more. Yeah. Zena?
We're doing interaction with our listeners and viewers this morning.
Zena? She's complaining. When you line open, she don't call. Pull she blanket. Yeah, time with her this morning. Strong, you hugging me up.
Gregory Bauer says no to the poll.
Yeah. Morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandi, no.
Radio.
Morning, Grandi. My father's family is from Grand River. Grandi.
I love Grand River. Love Grand River. Thank goodness they fixed that road from Valencia to the main road. Yes. Ooh, that was bad. Go Grand River.
We used to have a state with citrus. We used to go and pick orange. Rose eyes. Imagine a child that pick orange. But then you come down and you have enough grapefruit and orange and Portugal to last your lifetime.
I get some Piwa still, yes. I wonder if it's still King Piwa. Mo Gaines out in Aruka says no to the poll. All right. You have a minute to vote.
Crime talks between the government and opposition to result in measures that actually reduces crime.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct grammar? That measures reduce, I guess. So to go back to the student's companion in my head,
That's a great book.
And if in doubt, just paste it in ChatGPT and say, please correct my grammar.
Get English, you might get American English. Isn't that ChatGPT amazing?
Yes.
Good morning, Peter Lewis. Peter Lewis sent me a proposal the other day, and I complimented. I said, Peter, your writing has improved so much here. No ChatGPT. I said, you're right. I said, what, Peter, you write this? Yeah, ChatGPT.
Ronnie Foisen says absolutely not.
I didn't get Mogains, but at least I didn't record it. So I have to.
Coming up, news at 7:02 every morning. What, Steve? Too much? Clearly, the new time for the news.
Okay. When Evie comes in, I want you to introduce.
Clearly, the new time for the news. 7:02 is not 7 o'clock. It used to be 7 o'clock some weeks ago, but now it's 7:02. So we'll have a few minutes again because news coming up at 7:02. Possibly 3. Maybe 4. Interesting news. This news is such a child that was bullied to death, and his family sued the school, and the lawsuit was settled for $27 million in a California middle school. A young man was bullied, and the school did nothing about it. Diego Stoltz, 13, died when he was punched in the head repeatedly at his California middle school in an attack recorded by another student. Parents sued, and the family they got $27 million. And the lawsuit has put schools on notice to find ways to effectively deal with bullying and to enact real anti-bullying policies. said one of the family's attorneys. Isn't that good news? Yeah, you can't children reporting it all the time and the school treating it lightly. Not torture that is for a child. Some children just don't want to go to school.
Yeah. All right, Paul, introduce the news.
The news at 7:02 coming up next.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
No cabinet reshuffle on the Prime Minister's agenda. The government to maintain a deficit budget. The Prime Minister says government willing to work with the opposition to address crime. And workers start strike at U.S. motor industry giants. Details in a moment. This is News to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. A cabinet reshuffle is not on government's agenda at this time. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley provided the update after being questioned by reporters on the issue at the weekly post-cabinet news briefing held at the Diplomatic Centre St. Anne's on Thursday. He said the issue of a cabinet reshuffle was not discussed at this week's retreat held in Chaguaramas. Dr. Rowley said he gave no signal to anyone that there will be a cabinet reshuffle, adding he has a great system. He said this cabinet has been reshuffled twice in the past 8 years, indicating reshuffling for the sake of doing so contributes in no way to the learning curve of the public servants who provide the government with guidance.
So I'm not a prime minister who will reshuffle to appease somebody on social media who's saying it's time for a reshuffle. I'd rather have a minister do more with something that he or she knows more about now, and let's get on with the job. That is not to say that the occasion may not or will not or should not arise that the Prime Minister should make changes in the cabinet.
The Prime Minister was also questioned specifically about the performance of National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines and whether he was pleased with it, to which Dr. Rowley discussed what took place at the retreat on elements of the portfolio to which Fitzgerald Hines holds.
We discussed the elements of the portfolios, and yes, we did that. But while we were in Chaguaramas, we did not discuss the reshuffle. The issues surrounding the requirements of the portfolio, successes and failures, things to do. The performance of the Minister of National Security, there are some people who are less pleased with my own performance. There's no minister in the cabinet against whom more call is made for his removal than me. I understand where it comes from and I understand how it goes, but I also understand the work that is being done.
The population is being cautioned that the upcoming fiscal package could be another deficit budget. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said that he will stay with tradition and allow the Minister of Finance to announce the date for the presentation of the national budget. However, it was revealed the presentation will be made in the coming weeks. Dr. Rowley said the government has to treat with its debt position as well as the level of borrowing it can engage in.
So we have to have a development program, and it does look like if we will still maintain a deficit budget, and from that budget we have to determine how we treat with our debt and our levels of borrowing. If you're going to borrow, you have to be able to repay. If you're going to spend, you have to earn, and we look at the spending and we look at the earnings.
It was revealed that after the budget is delivered, the government plans to hold a spotlight on the economy. The Prime Minister added that such a move is necessary in order to review the performance of the economy, address challenges identified, and chart a move forward.
I want to educate the population. So sometime in the not too distant future, immediately after the budget, which is due in the coming weeks, one of the things I propose to do is, alongside the Minister of Finance, we will do a spotlight on the economy. You may recall that before the government embarked on engaging the oil companies, we had a spotlight on energy. where all the stakeholders came, and I think we were at the Hyatt, I think it was, and we presented to the country, especially the stakeholders, the facts of our situation.
3 days after President Christine Kangulu called for unity amongst parliamentarians to deal with crime, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley signaled that he will make the first move to initiate such discussions with the opposition. During a post-cabinet media briefing at the Diplomatic Center, St. Anne's yesterday, Dr. Rowley said he plans to write to opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar to invite her to sessions to present her plans to tackle the country's high crime rate. In her maiden speech to both houses during the ceremonial opening of the fourth sitting of the 12th session of Parliament on Monday, Kangulu urged the parliamentarians to put aside partisan politics to resolve the crime woes afflicting the country. Following Kangulu's speech, Persad-Bissessar had said the United National Congress was ready and willing to cooperate with the government. However, while he signaled he was ready for talks, Rowley said trying to unite with the opposition is not something new, noting that he made multiple attempts to do so in 2015. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister disclosed yesterday that he has sought legal advice on a High Court decision with respect to the non-disclosure of a report into allegations of sexual misconduct by former Sport Minister Darrell Smith. The Prime Minister was questioned on the issue yesterday at the post-cabinet news conference. On Wednesday, the office of the Prime Minister was directed by the High Court to reconsider a request made by former government minister Dr. Devon Maharaj to disclose the report. The report was prepared by a 3-member investigative committee. Justice Nadia Kangulu made the order after Maharaj, a former transport minister in the People's Partnership Administration, brought legal proceedings challenging the decision of the Office of the Prime Minister in March 2019 to not disclose the report. Justice Kangulu ordered that a copy of the settlement agreement between Smith and Carrie-Anne Moreau, a former employee of the Sport Ministry who was said to be the victim, was paid $150,000 be disclosed. Moreau was paid the money after claiming her employment at the ministry was unlawfully terminated following the allegations against Smith. The judge declared on September 6th that the decision to not disclose the information was unlawful, irrational, unfair, and amounted to a breach of the Freedom of Information Act. Dr. Rowley said yesterday that following that, what he read in the media, he sought legal advice. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. More than 10,000 staff at 3 of the biggest U.S. car makers have started strike action, according to their union. Work has been stopped at 3 plants owned by General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. It came after labor contracts expired on Thursday night. The United Auto Workers Union said the firms had not put forward acceptable offers. The fight threatens to trigger high prices for buyers and major disruptions for the motor industry giants. The UAW's president, Sean Fain, told the BBC that it was now up to the companies to resolve the dispute. The strike started at midnight Eastern Time at GM's Wentzville, Missouri mid-sized truck plant, Ford's Bronco plant in Michigan, and the Jeep plant in Toledo, Ohio, owned by Stellantis. The plants are critical to the production of some of the Detroit 3's most profitable vehicles. Finally, here's weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, generally hot and sunny conditions despite a brief shower. There's a low chance of an isolated afternoon heavy shower favoring western and hilly areas of Trinidad. Fair night. Gusts and street flooding possible in the event of heavy downpours. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 33 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. No cabinet reshuffle on the Prime Minister's agenda. Government to maintain a deficit budget. The Prime Minister says the government willing to work with the opposition to address crime, and workers start strike action at U.S. motor industry giants. I'm Afril Stintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for news in full coming up at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
up to date, and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. Of course, you could join again at 8 o'clock for our news brief, and then with Sir Charles at noon for major news once again. All right. Let's get into the teas, traffic-wise. Let's see what's happening on the highways and on the byways. All right. Let's start with San Fernando. Golaconda Connector Road, that's your hotspot in San Fernando this morning. Apart from that, is just volume going to Coquier is a bit sticky. With Solo, as you head northbound, nothing on Solo. Rivulet Road's a bit busy. Northbound traffic on the Solo is not too bad. You're pretty much going to pick it up just before Monroe Road. Chin Road is a bit busy going through St. Helena and Kelly Village. And Ibis Gardens towards the priority bus route. You've got some traffic there this morning. Santa Rosa, Maloney straight to Uwe. You've got traffic. Valsain, straight into Port of Spain. You've got traffic. Lady Young Road, out of Maravadego, Lower Santa Cruz. Eastern Main Road is not too bad. You'll pick up some traffic as you go through QREP. And then from Mount Hope, heavier from 6th Avenue and Barataria towards Mova Junction is where your traffic is at. All right, so that's quick tease for you. Hope it helped you out one way or the other. All right, so let's get back into the results of our morning poll.
Yeah, sure. Just before I, oh, you have more votes?
Well, I have Winston Jones saying no. And that's it.
So you could just listen to this and don't worry, I'm not breaking any copyright laws.
DePaul and Steve Kahn, host of Power 102. They light up the airwaves with their radio debut. Their talk show brings laughter, knowledge, and more. We can't get enough, the voices we adore. They're the dynamic duo, so full of charm. DePaul and Steve Kahn, keeping us warm. Their banter and wit, a delightful mix. Tune in to Power 102 for a talk show fix. DePaul and Steve Kahn, host of Power 102.
Okay, well, clearly you didn't break any laws then.
I just had AI pick up that song.
Really?
And I did it in a minute flat. Of course.
Wow. Send that to me. Let me put it on the system.
And let me tell you, but I said Dr. Paul Richards. I just inputted Dr. Paul Richards and Steve Kahn, talk show, Power 102 FM, Trinidad and Tobago, make up a song, and I told it to do it in the pop style, because you could tell it in whatever style. And in a minute flat, it did it. And this is just the beginning of AI. Could you imagine, in 10 years, what the hell that would be?
Is that using ChatGPT?
Well, it's Chat. You could import your own lyrics, or you could ask ChatGPT to make up the lyrics. But this other AI is the one who actually crafts the song and puts on the music and puts the person singing it in whatever kind of style that you want it. You're on mute, Paul.
In less than 5 years, we wouldn't even have to be here.
Yeah. Oh, God. Anyway, I said, let me play the fool and do that. But anyway, of course, the poll this morning, do you expect crime talks between the government and opposition to result in measures that reduce crime? 22 there were 23 people voting on the poll this morning in the allotted time. 22 of you said no. You do not expect crime talks between the government and the opposition to result in measures that reduce crime. One person said, yes, I do. So 22 people said no. So obviously people don't think that much is going to come out of this. I don't know if it is that they don't think the political elite is capable of dealing with the problem. Maybe that's a substantive issue. I don't know. But we'll open up our lines anyway, and you'll be able to weigh in on this and other topics shortly. So that's it for our poll. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and you can do it for the entire weekend. And we'll give you the results on Monday morning.
I hope they can. I think they can, actually. I'll join the one person who said that he or she thinks that they can. I think that they have the opportunity to. I think if they go into the talks focused on reducing crime, more than taking credit for reducing crime on both sides, I think they can. I think they're very intelligent people. I think they have a clear understanding of what the challenges are in many of the domains. It's not, there are several layers to this. There's the first crime repression issue, which is the police and preventing crime when they can through technology, and suppressing crime and catching the criminals. That's one layer of it. You understand? The other layer of it, there's three main layers to me. The other layer of it is the courts and the speed with which matters go through the courts so that consequences are felt immediately, almost immediately. You understand? And the third layer of it, and to me the most important, so we don't have to have this conversation in 10 years, is the education system. Well, let me add the issue of income inequality or opportunity issues that we raised earlier on, right? So the education system that trains people better and makes them, because that education system also is almost the starting point of the inequality, yeah?
Yep.
Because people put in this stream and that stream for life. I'm not saying you can't break out to the stream they generally put into, you know, but they generally put into particular streams for greater potential for success. You understand? And I stress the word potential for success, because that education system, the way it is presently, kind of starts the stratification in a really profound way. And then that leads on to the lack of opportunity for some, and the potential for more opportunity for other groups. And that is, to me, the main areas that they have to tackle. But the initial part of it, of course, is the law enforcement and court system that has to deal with the immediacy of the situation and people feeling safe. And then the others are the medium to long-term solutions. I mean, it's not really brain surgery at this stage. It is having the political will on both sides and understanding that you cannot do it alone if you're the government, and you cannot do it alone if you're the opposition. Because even if the opposition gets into power, they will need the government now who will be the opposition to come together. They cannot do it without each other. Cannot.
Yep. No, I agree.
And one.
It has to be a united front.
Yeah, it has to be.
In terms of dealing with the problem.
No other way through it. That zero-sum approach. Because that's the problem, you know. They both have a zero-sum approach. It's like the election, winner take all. And that trickles down into everything else. Winner take all, winner do everything. You understand? And the need to take credit for the success. Both of you take credit. If you come together, and both of you can take credit.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't diminish the government's performance, to me, if you take on board opposition recommendations that are valid. It doesn't diminish your performance at all. And doesn't diminish the opposition's worth and value. If you give, if and when you give suggestions that are taken on board. The other thing that could come now, and I'm just thinking out loud here because it just jumped into my head. Because it's a complicated country, yeah? Is if the opposition walk into the meeting with Gary Griffith. Because they can.
Yes, they can.
Because he's a political partner, not so?
Yes.
He mightn't be an official member of the opposition, but he's a political partner with some expertise in law enforcement or security, not so?
Yes.
So that is the other complication. So this is our team. I understand you listed the team. And then the boss man said, all but he. You understand? So I just think about all the possibilities in this country, you know, because this is a complicated country, you know. You understand? So, 222 talk.
Yep, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. Richie Rich, Mo Gaines is asking what app you used for that.
ChatGTP has several apps that do several things. So it's you have a different app for different things within the umbrella of ChatGTP.
Well, no, well, this one was it's one called Suno, but it goes via Discord. I assume you might have a Discord account. But you have to go via Discord. Like if you're using Midjourney or any of those, you know, you have to go via the Discord servers. So Suno is one of the Discord servers that you'll have to go on to, but you'll have to go through Discord.
But it's an AI-based program, right?
Yeah, the Suno is where you're going. So what you're doing, you know, they always all have a prompt. Well, for Suno,
they send you somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, for Suno, the prompt is chirp. So you'd have the / chirp, and then it brings up a dialog box that says what type of music, and it by default it's random. It'll choose, or you could. No, I've never tried soca, but I don't experiment with it much. But I've tried pop. I've tried dance. I've tried something else, acoustic maybe, I think, and then there's a dialog box in that same box for input your lyrics, and then if you don't have lyrics, below there is the ChatGPT box that says let ChatGPT create the lyrics for you, and you could type in ChatGPT what you want ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is incorporated or linked to this particular one called Suno. If you want to try it out, it's Suno, S-U-N-O, Suno AI. I suppose you could look up and traverse. But it's interesting to meddle around with it to see, you know, where does this go.
Yeah. All right, we have some calls here. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Hi.
Long time.
Good morning, stranger.
No, but the problem is I use my landline to call yours. I can listen to you all on my phone. So I don't know what the problem with B-Mobile, it's not B-Mobile, but TSTT. So, you know, the digital system they have. I've been having electricity problems in our area for a while. And apparently that has affected my phone as well. My landline.
You know how long me had somebody have a landline?
Well, I love my landline. So my landline is not working because of some whatever it is, because it's not on the account of not paying the bill. My bill is still being paid and I have no landline. So I can't call you up because I want to listen, you know? Anyway, Paul, good morning, and Richard. You know, Paul, you won't think alone. You know, the first thing came to in my head last night when the Prime Minister said that he's going to write the opposition about the crime talk. Suppose Gary come in the meeting. I was like thinking and say, but you know, that is not impossible, you know? And I feel if that is the case, that would happen. And I want to see how your reaction would be. Because that will be a meeting that will mash up one time.
Let's keep hope alive.
But you know, I think to me, I don't think this thing will work out because I remember the opposition leader saying some time ago, one of the conditions in her crime talks and all the different things is to get rid of the National Security Minister.
But your crime plan can be to go into a meeting and tell the Prime Minister how to run his cabinet. That can be the crime plan.
That is exactly what I say. But they don't want the National Security Minister. So how can they sit around a table among themselves with the other side and seeing that somebody there we don't want at all? Even in the news last night, that is one of the things. You had retreat and they still ain't get rid of the National Security Minister. So they're already going into that meeting with a certain mindset. So that's why I feel nothing will happen. Well, I wish something could happen, but I believe nothing will come out of that meeting.
Here the kind of extremist attitudes we have in this country from Tony Lendo. Paul, stop singing for your supper. Crime was under control under the UNC without the PNM support, like you forget. That's the kind of extremist ideas we have in this country that have us in trouble.
Well, Paul, I just I can't stand that for you. When the
Good morning, Mr. Lendo.
we did not have murders, we do not have any murders at all, right? For the last, from 2010 to 2015, there was no crime. So that's when people say these things, that is still of trouble. And that is what is bringing all the ruction and bacchanal. How UNC didn't have no murders? Why did we have a state of emergency?
Well, to be fair to the gentleman, he didn't say he had no murders. He said crime was under control.
No, I know he did say that. He said crime was under control. But, I mean, that was 10 years ago. Didn't the criminologist you all had on the air last time, didn't she say, but in the last
I don't know that. I don't know that 200 murders and other crimes means anything it was under control.
Nothing was under
control. And I'm sure it was more than 200 murders. I don't think we've been under 300 murders for a while.
Yeah, it was. So the point is, everything has been changing. Crime is getting worse day by day, getting more sophisticated and all kinds of things, you know. So I don't know what could be done. Not even both of them could find. The other find God, I believe. Okay, you all have a good day.
Same to you.
All right, thank you all. Bye.
Yeah. Have a safe weekend.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Kamala should accept the invitation when it's actually written and sent out. And I find that's an old archaic way. Somebody is going to write a letter and then it's going to go through the system and so on. That should have been delivered by now. It's not that, well, I'll write it next week and the week after she will get it. And that's just generating a lot of speculation, as you see, you know, and people putting their little twists and turns on it. You know, their views and whatnot superimposed on wrong information. No information, in fact. We don't know if and when the letter will actually be sent. Now, Kamala did not make it a condition that Fitzgerald Hines be fired. She has recommended that he be fired. And we don't actually know who will be on the team because he has been sidelined before in favor of Stuart Young, right, in terms of national security matters. Then, you know, that kind of tells you maybe he shouldn't even be there. But I am supporting the meeting because whatever the outcome, I want to hear Amla Prasad Bissessa and Dr. Rowley come out and say, well, these are the things that we can agree on. There has to be some things that they can agree on, right? And the Prime Minister would naturally have the priority to go his way. Well, he has the authority to go his way. But then Mr. Bissessa is making the point that, you know, they don't ever listen whenever we talk. Well, they listen, but they don't take anything on board. And we have that with the Economic Advisory Council. People just started leaving. We have that with Mr. Manning's $500 million feasibility study for rapid rail. The Rowley government came in and that just disappeared. You know, so governments do that kind of thing. So, but first of all, they have to meet. They absolutely must meet. And whatever they come up with, we must know about it. If they agree or they disagree on various points, we must know about it. Like when you have a joint select committee of parliament and so on, we must know what their positions are. And let them take whoever they want to the meeting. But I have been asking myself the big question that if Fitzgerald Hines, the sideline in favor of Stuart Young, what is he actually doing there? And why are people so desperately protecting him? If he can be sidelined so easily in his own ministry that he took many years.
When you say that, what do you mean by that?
Well,
you keep repeating that he's being sidelined. What do you mean by that?
Can't recall the specific incident, but in a national security appearance, he had been sidelined and Stuart Young spoke on behalf of the ministry when there was no reason for us to believe that he was in some crisis and couldn't appear.
So there was an occasion that you can cite that Stuart Young could be prominent, and you think that results in him being sidelined?
I have archives and I don't have records, but we have memory. So somebody else might be able to support me on that, or people could just say, well, no, we don't know what stupidity he's talking. I'll go with either one, but I am just saying it is clear that he has gotten a lot of bad vibes from the public. Even PNM supporters, they might reluctantly have to support him because you know how we line up here. But it's fine if the Prime Minister wants to keep him. That's on his plate. That's his choice.
I think the public has a right to ask questions about the performance of any minister in the cabinet, and the ministry that Minister Hines is in charge of is national security. And last year we had 604 or 5 murders, so the public has a right to ask about performance.
Yeah, and that has been happening. But what I find a little testing to my wisdom is why is there sometimes, and in this case particularly, a kind of desperation that don't touch Hines. I'm getting that. I may be reading it wrong, but let's give someone else a chance. Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I was listening to some people talking and stuff. But before I say what I had to say, I will never forget, never ever forget, when a particular individual who claimed to be actually always on your program, I will never forget when he said that the government, when they bring property tax, they should bring a retroactive tax. And I don't know who he was talking about there. And when they can't pay, we will pay and take all the property because we don't have it. We don't have all the property already. I will never ever forget that. Never ever forget that. Now, we're talking about the government and the opposition to come together. No, that is what is supposed to happen. That could happen. And we brought up a nice point. What if they walk in with Mr. Gary Griffith? That is the prerogative. They could do that. But you see, Mr. Gary Griffith, he's very talented. Based on his past, he's very talented in crime and he deal with that kind of thing. But the things that he would have done and mentioned and said, and the position, his posture in public towards his seniors, the people he should respect and all that sort of thing. And when he would mention things like when he spoke things about the opposition leader would not have attended parliament and is a 5-day this and a 5-day that. And then he would come and say, of all the prime ministers he worked with, now he comes saying that, and all the prime ministers he worked with, that is the best prime minister. And he talks so much. How would you know, sit down to put something together for the country and see them walking with that, with he himself, and it's for the country, eh? It is not for the party, it is for the country. But that tells you something, and is a very uncomfortable position to deal with people like that.
Can I tell you something, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you presume that even in a cabinet, everybody likes each other in the same government?
No. I know they would.
So, but they still have to sit down and work together.
Yes.
When something is so high stake, you have to put aside your personal feelings.
No, watch me. I agree with that, I am for that, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, although we have to work together, which is the principal thing that we should do and put aside everything, you see, it have a certain distance that you can't even trust that with certain people. Okay, for example, when you look at a bill in the parliament, and people would see that if we don't support this bill, Right now, gentlemen, I know about 4 fellas, murderers, come out of prison, dread fellas, come out of because of that bill that is support. I mean, you have to put aside and do things for the country. When you would say that I wouldn't do things for the government to look good, and a party would have a mantra like, we'll make this country ungovernable, and you have to sit down to deal just for what you're saying. They were supposed to put these things aside and deal.
So, what are you saying? Because of all that's been said before on both sides, it's impossible for them to come together. I think that's the art of politics. That's the real art of politics. Besides all the animosity we've had in the past, a challenge confronts us that could destroy the country. And we have to put aside all of that because things were said on both sides. Egregious things. So they have to find some way to put aside all of that in the interest of moving the country forward.
Exactly. But what I'm saying that Mr. Paul, what you're saying is the truth. I agree with you. But what I'm saying, you see what you're saying there? You see that to come from heart and truthfulness to do something, that is where the issue is. What you're saying is a fact. I agree with you totally. That is what it's supposed to be. But to really to get that is the issue. For we to really come in and for we to put aside that and deal with that.
We shall see. We shall see.
Well, it calls for a certain amount of political maturity on both sides.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Navigate that.
It calls exactly that is what I'm talking about. Not that it can happen, but it's not supposed to happen. But that is, you see, to put away all those things and deal with that. You see,
I don't think it's impossible. I really don't think it's impossible.
Hold on to these things.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
All righty. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. No, I think we tend to deflect from reality sometimes.
You got to speak up a little bit.
Could you speak up just a little bit, please?
Yeah, I say that we tend to deflect from reality at times. We know the purpose of Parliament is to both the opposition and the government to work and bring policies in the interest of the country itself, right? Now, Senator, you would have been in Parliament under 3 administrations, twice under Dr. Rowley and once under the opposition, under Kamala.
That is not true, sir.
No?
That is an inaccurate statement.
All right. Well, it's time to be corrected, right? But my point is that having reviewed the Parliament channels and seen the various policy being put forth, and I've seen the opposition at times, things that would have been in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago, actually voted against, majority of times. And when the present party was in opposition, they had supported almost a majority of the legislation that was brought in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago. And why I'm saying that, right? Why it is laudable that the 2 parties come together in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. There's a role and responsibility of the administration that is appointed by the people of Trinidad and Tobago to bring forth certain legislation. I will agree that before it comes before Parliament, maybe you include the opposition and as a normal administration in the states, something in terms of lobbying, showing that what the agreement, wherever the case to be. You have those measures in place. But one cannot convince me, right? Right now, based on the position of the opposition as it presently exists, that they have that interest. I get the inference, right, based on their statement, that they are working against it, only seeking their self-interest. And I understand that, right? Now, if it is that your first position in terms of the talks that are being proposed by the Prime Minister in terms of writing to opposition leaders, that your first position, right, is that you fire the National Security Minister, when you very well know that the National Security Minister is only effective when you bring forth certain legislation and get the support, however he does it, the support of both parties, so it's a partial government, partial the Parliament, right? And that is what people tend to not look at is the position of the party themselves, right? And asking the question, well, why it is that you're not supporting this? Yeah? So it's not about voting and coming forth. It's about the people themselves holding, if whoever they support, to account as to the reason why it is that you're not supporting this in my interest. And that is the reality, and that is the real question that's supposed to be posed to these individuals.
Well, I think it's a little bit, I think I hear you. I think it's a little bit more complex than that. I think there's a lot of gray. That's not just black and white, because there are some laws that may be proposed that have constitutional issues that require some thought, and where you're going to not have people agreeing that this particular law needs to encroach to that degree. So you're going to have dissent, and you're going to have dissent even among supporters that are saying, no, I don't think that so much constitutional infringement should be allowed. So it's not just a matter of, this is what we want to do, it's draconian, and we think this is what required, that another party will say, yes, I'll go along with you. It's not that clear cut.
That's why I stated in the opening that in terms of lobbying, before the legislation comes, maybe it is that you have that form of consultation with them, right? But I could recall, if it is that you will just play back the tape, I'm sure it's available, right? That for I think it was the Nelson Mandela funeral, about the then Prime Minister and President Opposition Leader went across, and they had talks in terms of the interest. And he stated when he came back, the opposition leader, she took a different stance. So you lost that level of trust. And you see, the thing about it is that we tend to hold whoever in party accountable. But we don't ever, or as much, hold who propose to be in control accountable. You understand? So the more emphasis tends to be on persons and them who are in control, and less emphasis on the persons and them who propose to hold that office and run the administration of Trinidad and Tobago. All have to be accountable, right? So I just say that my part of the conversation. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, you come back. You're back.
Yes, I'm here. I hope that the opposition leader and Dr. Rowley could really get together to solve the crime and other things that is going on in the country, pass laws and whatever, because I remember she saying, party before country or dead. So I hope she going with I hope she go that behind her back and really fight for country. Bye.
All right, thank you. San Fernando, 222-8255. Toll free North America, it's 866-525-1099. Our number is directly into our studio.
Oh, while we have this little pause in the lines, let me just remind people, and I shouldn't say remind, let me inform people that theater is back and it's coming up. And so our first show will be, of course, Nikki Crosby is back, and she's 50-ish, and she is hot AF. And you all may say, well, what is hot
What
AF?
does AF mean?
It means...
Yeah, what is AF?
Whatever you want it to mean. It could be hot as or hot and fiery. Whatever you want it to be, you want it to be. But 50-ish, you're hot AF. And she's back and she's hitting hard. And she starts on the 29th and 30th, of course, of this month. That's when the show is, that weekend, the 29th and 30th of September. And it will be at Queen's Hall, and tickets go on sale from Saturday. And the Queen's Hall, of course, at our usual outlets, and I'll tell you those outlets now. And of course, Queen's Hall box office opens on Monday from 12 noon, and you should get your tickets early because there's a lot of traction on social media concerning the show. 50-ish and hot AF. So the main outlets At this point, our K-Squared Fashions in the Falls at West Mall, K-Squared Fashions at Eastgate, which is in the Trin-City area, of course. Friends of Marabella in Piago Plaza, for those of you in Trin-City and Oropoon, etc., etc. Jabili Rawi, Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna, next door to Usan's Roti Shop. Electronics and Prince Street, Arima. Crosby's Music Center in St. James. Anybody in St. James is supposed to know where that is. Creme Fresh, Brentwood Mall, Chagonas, Charfleur Auto Services, and Tony's Florals in Val Park Shopping Plaza, and Rumbox on Western Main Road in St. James. Those are the outlets that we have so far. So that's on the 29th and 30th of September. And of course, tickets go on sale from tomorrow at all of those outlets. And the box office at Queen's Hall opens from Monday, 50ish and hot AF. Trust me, it is hilarious. Nikki is in ripping form. I've been privy to some of the rehearsals. It is absolutely hilarious. You cannot miss that. And of course, coming up also in the first week in October, we have Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior. So that's right up your alley. Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior. I know it's right up your alley, Steve. And that premieres on October 7th, the weekend of October 7th and 8th at Naparima Bowl. And tickets for Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior goes on sale from September 25th at all our advertised outlets, and we'll tell you what those are. And the box office opens on October 4th. I'll keep you up to date with that. So we have two shows that are coming up, 50ish and Hot AF, which of course tickets go on sale from tomorrow at the outlets that I told you about. And of course the Queen's Hall box office opens from 12 noon on Monday to get the tickets for that show, which is on the 29th and 30th of September. It is going to be an exciting October. It's end of September into October is going to be exciting with theater, with those two productions running.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Harry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Leonard from North Carolina. How you doing?
Yep, good. Oh, good. Nice and chilly over here now in North Carolina.
Morning,
Yep.
Leonard.
Chilly. Good. Yep. You guys did a good job this weekend, and this have a good weekend.
Thank you so much, Leonard. You too.
This one was good. Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. All the best here. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. Good morning. Oops, it is. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey,
gentlemen.
Stranger, what's going on?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Morning. How are you doing, man?
Hey, Paul, congratulations on your reappointment to the senator.
It's not a reappointment.
It's a continuance.
A continuation.
Continuing. Sorry, sir.
But thank you nonetheless. I appreciate it.
Good morning to Mr. Richard Ragobasin. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Congratulations to all. Well, congratulations to all the new appointed senators, the independent senators to the House. Congratulations to those guys. I hope they make a good contribution. Anyway, guys, how you guys doing, man?
We're great. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Once it's Friday, you know we good.
I know the breakfast show doesn't like nothing but a Friday. What? You guys will be energized on a Friday, man.
Absolutely.
Steve, how you doing, sir?
Not bad, not bad. Where are you?
I'm in LA.
I see a Trinidad number showed up.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys stay blessed, man. Right?
All right, no problem. Have a good one, my friend. It's been a while.
All right.
Yeah. You know, I've never been to LA. I have to make LA on my. I have to put LA on my calendar.
Oh, really?
To Los Angeles.
I passed through. That's all.
I don't know. I just keep, being a kind of nervous about it because I don't want to be mobbed because people think I'm Vin Diesel, and I just afraid I'll be mobbed, Steve.
Oh, jeez. Just Lord, put a hand. Caller, save me.
Good morning,
Morning.
gentlemen.
Morning.
Right.
Good morning.
Okay, so I am in agreement with the government and the opposition meeting to really see how much we can resolve this crisis that we are in regarding crime. I believe it is a bit late though, that this should have happened long time. I know the government depended on, well, probably the support of the opposition in the parliament for certain bills. That's one. But a while ago, I think this should be happening. Instead of, we went to CARICOM, we brought Royal Gonzalez and whoever come and talk. We spend millions of dollars. Heard nothing about that again. Now, we reach crisis proportion. We come back to who we should consult with in the first place. This should be happening long time ago, I find, instead of going to CARICOM. I don't know what happened, what went on in this. We spend millions of dollars on a crime symposium, and we have to come back now to rally with the opposition. And I hope that they meet with the government and really sit down and see if they can put things together. But I know one of the recommendations of the UNC, and I will agree to them, is that we will start by removing Hines. I heard Trinity say that this morning, something like that, and also removing Erla, Christopher, because they are part of the problem. And then let us continue from there. You put your plan on the table. Well, I think the UNC will be hesitant to display their anti-crime plan, because you will be taken. But Dr. Roy is a very intelligent man, so he knows what he is doing. Very intelligent, crafty. So probably he is trying to, see what it is they have in play. But I believe this should be happening a long time ago. I don't know why this is now happening after how many people died over the last 2 years. We are now saying, okay, let us meet with the opposition after.
Not only 2 years, now only 2 years now, Kola.
It's more than 2 years. Well, right, this should be happening a long time. Yeah. Why is only now? Why is only now after a speech by the president, which we all know, but I don't know, I see a big political play with that speech, and then the immediate response by the prime minister to engage the opposition. So if the president didn't say that, so if the president didn't say that speech on that day, so we have never had this engagement. So we have to wait for the president to say opposition and government will meet, and let us see how, because this crime thing is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
This crime is ridiculous. I mean, just to go and throw my garbage, I have to be watching the camera full from inside. Watching all the cameras. Then when
I think we don't even know. Kola, you're raising a valid point. I think we don't even know how psychologically abused we are by the crime situation.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous now, man.
Because we have been submerged in this kind of reality for so long that the issue of murders daily, and I know Paul talks about it a lot of times, that we become desensitized to it. But murders and the frequency of murders, and in fact, knowing people have been murdered, all of us on this program know people have been murdered, is not normal.
It can't be.
It's not normal. There are many people who live their entire lives in other countries who have never known somebody who has been murdered.
And so when people talk about it was under control under X and under control under Y, we've been in this state for 20-25 years.
Yes, I quite agree. So
it crescendoed last year, which was really bad. But I don't know that we've been in a managed state for 2 decades.
Yeah, Paul, but it's worse now. It's worse. It's right now.
You're absolutely right. It is worse now. It is constantly going up, and it is unbearable. I mean, and if just something different needs to be done. There needs to be a different approach where we'll keep going up.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that thing about and that issue of the kind of psychological abuse. And I'll give you an example. Like I talk to my sister often. And she's saying that, when I talk to her about, the crime situation, I think a lot of Trinidadians and Tobagonians, the diaspora across the planet, are concerned about the crime situation because, of course, they love Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of our diaspora don't leave Trinidad and Tobago necessarily because they hate it. They just have other opportunities or whatever their journey is in life. And she was saying that she didn't, she can't think of like when she goes to park and she parks her car when she's going to work and she's walking back because she's on campus and stuff, or she's coming home. That doesn't factor in her mind. She doesn't think that somebody's going to follow her.
When you travel, just to add to that, and you engage in some behaviors, don't your friends and family tell you, calm down, you're not in Trinidad?
Yes.
They say you don't have to do all that.
Go ahead, caller.
They tell you that.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, caller. One more point. Yes.
Yeah. What I was, can this be seen as an indictment on the government that they cannot solve the problem on their own, which they are duly elected to do, and now is looking at the opposition? Some people could see it like that too, So all they can't solve the problem. So you have to call on the opposition to help you solve the problem that you.
Well, I hope that the majority of the population is a little bit more elevated in their thinking about it in that regard, in that it requires all of us to be on board in terms of dealing with this problem. And from a government point of view, because the government really includes the administration and the opposition and the senator. The government as a whole. And so the House of Parliament is responsible for our security and safety. Yes, you're going to have a leader, meaning the current administration, but the opposition has a part to play. That's why they're there. The Senate has a part to play.
Well, I'm curious to see how this will turn out. Right. Yeah. I hope they don't spoil it. Yeah. The opposition don't spoil it and start negative.
I hope nobody spoils it. It shouldn't be that the opposition doesn't spoil it, because when you see we so locked into that mindset that X and Y have to spoil it. You understand? And that is what has pushed us into where we are now. Let us just say that let's hope good sense prevails and they can work together. They can put meaningful recommendations that can be implemented successfully.
All right, gentlemen, we got to wrap it up. Of course, we'll continue after 8 o'clock. But before I go, I just want to wish happy 51st wedding anniversary tomorrow to Deacon Lennox Tousse and his lovely wife. Angela.
Wow. Congrats, Len and Angela.
Oh, congrats, Uncle Lennox and Auntie Angela. I'm so much younger.
You can't be saying Uncle Lennox and Auntie Angela as if you're 17 years old. Okay?
I say Uncle Lennox and Auntie Angela. I was taught to have respect.
As if you're 20 years old. Congrats, Len and Angela.
Yeah. Happy 51st tomorrow. I know he's listening, so yeah. And of course, it's coming from the entire family as well.
And actually, let's spend some money tomorrow, you know. From today, all weekend.
All weekend.
Why is she not in Paris? Why are you not having dinner in Paris, Lennox? Come on.
Oh, Lord. Hey.
Have a great weekend. Congrats. You all have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. God willing, we see you Monday.
Paul, before you go, that gadget you held up this morning, you say you can't live without it. Has now Zena does not need you anymore. She didn't call. She don't need you anymore.
Oh, so not only do you cook well, Paul, you also very versatile.
I'm a handyman.
Huh?
I'm a handyman.
You're a handyman. You can drill stuff.
And a plumber. And a carpenter.
I so want to say something.
Right.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right, it's Friday, so put a smile on your face wherever you are, even if you are in some disgusting traffic right now. Put a smile on your face because it is Friday. The weekend is here. So enjoy it whatever you do. Of course, tickets go on sale at the outlets that I mentioned. Of course, you can check RSRR Productions theater page to get all of the information about these two shows. Nikki Crosby in 50ish and Hot AF. And of course, Bacchanal, Bobble, and Bad Behavior.
All right.
And these two shows are going to close off our theater sojourn for 2023. So will be running at different times during the month of October. So have a fantastic weekend, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
Mm-hmm.